Sorry to surprise everyone with a big news day.
You know how I feel about opposite news.
I do. That's why I'm apologizing.
Work that's now going to ensue, because now we got to report on replacement for you.
I know.
It was a good run, Maura, up
Up until today.
today.
Sorry about that.
Rewriting.
Just go.
Maura Crowell, who made us all come into work.
It was going to be a quiet weekend for you. Yeah.
Beautiful May day.
Oh, shoot.
For some of you,
It had been raining last, you could have done this when it was raining.
I'm sorry I didn't match that up with Mother Nature.
I thought for sure you'd be camping.
That was last weekend.
I know, that's why I was like, are you clear at 1?
I had no.
Everyone else I know works, but you could be gone.
That says something. It's Friday in late May. There's chances of Matt working are slim to none.
fair enough.
It's not a bad thing, Matt.
Just let me preface real quick. Is that on? You're not on yet. If you want to talk to, if you have any questions for Forrest afterwards about what would happen after, we'll go that way just one-on-one, but he won't come up here and obviously don't. She doesn't need to be involved in what.
We changed that.
You changed it.
Yeah,
You already did
they
it?
requested, so I'm gonna just.
So you have to talk to all
Okay,
of
my
us.
point is just don't ask her, so.
Yeah.
Easy.
Who are you hiring?
I'm not worried.
Who's taking your job?
The hard-hitting questions.
All right, whenever you're ready, Dylan.
I'm ready whenever.
I'm not taking your job. She has to do work. Too much work during the summer. Recruiting, all that.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
You just want us to start with questions, or you want to open?
Sure.
Take us through the timeline and your decision to leave UMD and go to Dartmouth, a move that sounds like is a family move.
Yes, absolutely. Fast timeline, like a week timeline. So not something that was on my radar necessarily, but something that came my way and as you mentioned, made sense for my family. You guys all know I'm from the East Coast, and I've spent 9 amazing years here in Duluth, and it's time to get back there. I have some older parents now and want to be closer to them, and Blake's going to be 3 in June, so want to get her set up and getting into schools and things like that. So timing is right, and they're trying to revamp that athletics department at Dartmouth and want to be good and be successful, and so it's an exciting time for them too.
There's the Harvard opening last year, and there have been some East Coast openings in the past. How long have you kind of been thinking about, like, okay, maybe I need to move back home at some point here? And how do you kind of weigh that with, we've talked, you got a lot of resources here that may not be available out there?
Yeah, it's hard because the place that this program is in is exactly where I wanted it to be when I came here back in 2015. So we have it cranking, in my opinion. I think the roster for the upcoming season is one of the best that we've had in a while. So that's what you're weighing, is like the opportunity to get to a Frozen Four, to win that 6th national championship, to be in a place that has been so good to me, and also being far from home and at some point wanting to get back there. You talked about how long. I think it's more about finding the right opportunity and what makes sense for me and my family, and at this time this did.
There'll be more babysitting possibilities out there in Hanover?
We'll see. We never allowed anyone in the 2+ years.
Closer to your family.
Oh yes, family. Yeah, they get the green light. Yeah.
My parents moved up here recently. We have more babysitting options. It's great.
It's helpful.
How tough was that conversation with the team this morning when you talk about what you have coming back and coming in and where this program's at? We talked about on Selection Sunday, NCAA tournaments have all of a sudden become a foregone conclusion, when this past year I think a lot of people would have thought this is the year you missed the tournament.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. It's the people here, especially, my players. So you know how I feel about them, how they feel about me. It's just been unbelievable, and that's the hardest part. The whole time considering this, it's weighing those options out, and you have to make mature decisions sometimes and put the family first. But I think our locker room is loaded with bright, mature, competitive athletes who love UMD, who are dedicated to this program, not to me. It's about the program. It's always been about the program. So while they're sad to see me go, and I'm sad not to be their coach anymore, they're going to be great.
Along those lines, you have talked about it, your coaches have talked about it. I just talked to your captains last week. They've talked about it. Your past captains have talked about it, how you empower your players and you empower your coaches. What kind of shape is that room in because of that?
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Like, yes, sad, shocked, all of the things that I think many people feel, but also confident in what they have in the room, committed to each other. We have great leadership, whether they're wearing letters or not. We have great leadership in that room, and people that are dying, the kids that are coming in dying to be Bulldogs, and the kids that are there that love to be Bulldogs and love to play for each other, and they do it for the right reasons. So that has always been something that's been at the heart of my coaching style here, was to make it about them, and I think that is going to help them hit the ground running.
What does it mean to you, building up with taking them to the Frozen Fours multiple times, all of the tournaments, and then also, your work in expanding the tournament here? I mean, you were a Bulldog when you did that. Just talk about that journey and how much that means to you now, leaving UMD with that.
Yeah, so much pride. It's awesome to be able to leave a place on top. I'm really happy to have gone from where we were in 2015 when I got here to where we are now. Proud of that. Couldn't have done that without great support from the department, support staff, people here and that aren't here anymore. Couldn't have done that without them. And like I said, I'm so confident in what they're going to be able to do, and I'm going to be a Bulldog fan for life. I've told them that. I've told a lot of people that. I'll be getting the Big Ten Network and tuning in and all of those things. So it's I have immense pride for what we did here during my time, and that pride will not go away.
Is there anything that maybe really stands out about, of course it's a long time and a lot of wonderful things, but, anything that you'll probably remember forever about this time here?
So many things. The regional championship win over Minnesota, the double overtime win over Northeastern, playing in the national championship, getting through COVID, and how connected our group was that year. The UConn double OT win this year. So those are some of the accomplishments in games. Mostly it's, again, back to the people and the relationships, and watching players develop from the day that they show up on campus to when they leave, however many years that may be, and how they grow both on and off the ice. Those are the things that will stick with me forever, and I intend to stay very close to my players and staff and help in whatever way I can through the transition.
The 5 NCAA tournaments you took the program to in the last 4 years, is there one that you're most proud of? Like, obvious to say the one you played at the national championship, or I feel like there was something about this last year? Maybe you
There is
expected that.
so many different, so many different feelings about each of them. 16, 17, I think, was really important for this community and this team and everything. That we needed that. We needed a win. We needed success. Those players had been through a lot, and to watch them go out with a national tournament berth. We hosted it that year. Very good team. obviously, the COVID one was just unique, then the national championship and so on and so forth. This year, I think because of all the doubters and all the things that we had lost and what's going to happen, is it a rebuild? You know, you love being able to answer that with a resounding no, it's not, and we're back again, and we're here to stay.
Go back 9 years, interviewing for this job, there was some controversy, some turmoil walking in here. It'd been a little while since they won. And I remember you talking about getting back there and getting back to the national championship. You guys actually made that a reality. What's that mean?
God, that's tough to put into words. Let me try. It means everything. When I say I want to do something, I like to fulfill it and keep my word. And we got back there. We didn't win the 6th. I think it's imminent. But we did a lot of great things to get the program back to where it needed to be in all facets. You know, look at all our WCHA Scholar Athletes of the Year, you know, All-Americans, just amazing students, amazing people, and incredible success. So it's really hard to put that into words, but again, I leave here feeling so good about what has been done, the experience that these players have had during their time, and where it's going to go. It's set up really well to continue to do well.
How much better a coach are you than when you walked in that Champions Lodge 9 years ago?
Yeah, I have learned a lot about leading through adversity, the importance of just good decision making, in game and out, you know, everyday decisions, but also in games. I've been fortunate to be surrounded by some amazing coaches, assistant coaches over the years that have made me better, players that have pushed me to be better. Yeah, the growth of the program, the growth of me as a person and coach over the last 9 years, it's massive. And it's why I have the opportunity that I have now.
Are there any, you talked about a lot of accomplishments on the ice, are there any things off the ice that you're proud of? You know, Gabby Hughes, players like that. It seemed like it was every other year they were doing something off the ice that was special.
Yeah.
What do you have to say kind of about that?
Yeah, that's a huge one. You know, the first ever Hockey Humanitarian Award winner at UMD, Gabby Hughes, just a legend of a hockey player, and watching all those guys go to the PWHL and fulfill their dreams of playing pro hockey, the way that they've changed the face of the game for little girls, but also college players right now that are dying to get into that league. That's something that we're really proud of. I mentioned the WCHA Scholar Athletes of the Year. That's huge. The academic integrity and on-ice success, that doesn't always happen, to have both things going, and the way that they're involved in the community. Manon McMahon was a co-president of the SAC group here. Claire has been in the DEI group for the past 2 or 3 years. She's going to continue with that. Hannah Baskin is now the vice president of the SAC group. So just incredible, well-rounded people that are doing good things in all areas of their lives.
And I noticed in the past you'd like to go to the East Coast to begin the season. Are you making plans already to kind of make your way back here maybe?
Maybe in a few years. We have some work to do, maybe in a few years. I would love to be back here. You know, I know I'll be back here visiting, and sure eventually with the team too.
Coach, they talk about leaving a place better than you found it, and you for sure have done that. But greater than that, also hearing you leave people better than you found them, and you've done that in every single class that you've had. What is it like knowing that you've had an eternal impact on every single woman that has walked through these doors, and they'll forever credit my head coach, Maura Crowell?
Lex, you're killing me. It's been a privilege, and the way you just described what I have done for them, they've done for me. So I don't think it happens just, it's not a one-way street. I think it's a two-way street, and yeah, I'll cherish that. And again, I'm not going, I'm moving, but like I'm not moving out of their lives. I intend to be close and be a resource for them. You know, a lot of them I've coached for a long time, so when it comes to, you know, the PWHL and GMs calling on their behalf, USA Hockey, Hockey Canada, International Hockey, I know those players extremely well, so I'm going to be a resource and a reference for them for those things, jobs, whatever they need. So while I'm leaving the program, I'm not leaving them.
I know you just touched on it, and you almost answered my own question. I was going to ask you, as much as, you know, your job as a head coach is to lead these women as women, so they're set up for the rest of the world, whether that's their hockey careers, but also their professional careers in the real world. What have you learned about yourself that they have given back to you as a mom, as a wife, all the other hats that you wear off the ice?
Wow, hard-hitting questions here. I've learned that you can handle just about anything if you're surrounded by the right people. I think just having great support is important, and pushing yourself to do hard things. Like, this is a hard thing, leaving this place, going to a new place. After 9 years, you lay down some serious roots. So doing hard things and making sacrifices for the right reasons is part of life. And I think they've learned that too. You know, with this departure, they see that, they understand, they're happy, but, you know, sad at the same time, but they're going to be okay. And life goes on. And I think it's again, being surrounded by good people and maintaining important relationships in your lives. Like I said, I'm not leaving these guys. I'm not leaving everybody. I'm just moving.
Being here nearly a decade, do you feel like this is a pin on the map that feels like home if you look at the entire country, the places?
Yes, I've lived here longer than I've lived in most places since I was a little kid, you know, so absolutely. There's no better hockey town in America. I will stand by that. This community loves its hockey. Look at all of you people here today, like the media coverage of women's hockey. This doesn't happen everywhere. I know that. It is one of the best places to work and to compete as athletes. I think it's incredible. And yeah, I definitely intend to get back here and visit and not be a stranger.
Maura, we're going to go deep dive here.
Okay.
Throw one at you. There's a lot of changes going on in college athletics right now. Transfer portal, NIL, the house settlement stuff. When you look at UMD and the schools it's directly going up against, does it have the resources to continue to compete with the team that knocked you out of the NCAA tournament? And
right.
What needs to happen for it to stay at this level, to be, you know, playing the Buckeyes for national championships, Badgers and Gophers for conference championships?
Yeah, I mean, they've had the resources and they've had that advantage. And yeah, it's probably going to get bigger, but we have found ways to compete and to recruit really well out of high school, out of the portal. People want to be here because it's a hockey school. You know, I can't overstate that. This is a hockey school. It's not a football school that has hockey. We are a hockey school. You guys are a big part of that. The coverage, the press every week. Our athletes are treated like pros. And I think for women's hockey players, that's really important, to have those resources, to feel supported, to be the big dog on campus. I think we do have a lot going for us here, and that has allowed us to be good and allowed us to keep up with those guys, whether or not they have more resources or not. And I think college sports is going in a really interesting direction, and I don't think any of us can predict what that's going to look like, but I know UMD's commitment to hockey is going nowhere.
What's it going to be like at an Ivy League school at Dartmouth? You have experience coaching in the Ivy League.
Yep.
At the ECAC in Dartmouth. What's it going to be like for a school like that, for you at a school like that, in this new college sports world?
Well, the interesting thing with the Ivies is they don't do athletic scholarships already, so it's not even a real, part of the conversation when you're getting in there with top recruits. I think, they'll have to compare getting paid, whatever that might look like, versus, the investment in Ivy League education. A lot of people care about that and the brand and the importance of that, and ultimately making that money back in spades once they graduate and are part of that really powerful alumni network. So I'm sure it'll come up, but I think it'll come up less out there just because of the way the Ivy League has operated for, I think, hundreds of years. Yeah.
We have another ECAC voice now that maybe is more adaptive to change in things.
You can count on that. You can count on that. Don't you worry. Yes.
I really wanted somebody to ask for that.
I know Matt's been there, but I'm going to guess most of the folks in this room have not. Describe Thompson Arena for somebody who's never been in there.
Once you're inside, it's actually a pretty big facility. It seats all the way around. Nice green seats, of course. They lean into that. But it's a cool rink. When I was at Colgate and we played all over the ECAC, that was one of my favorite rinks to play in. And they do have renovation plans underway to do some upgrades, locker room, offices, weight room type stuff. So that's exciting as well. The campus, it's a traditional New England campus. The town is small. It's all about the college. Very green. It's up in the mountains. Not dissimilar, obviously not mountains, but not dissimilar to Duluth and Minneapolis, a couple hours from Boston. Quieter setting, very community focused.
I don't remember any green when we were there in the summer.
Not outside, but inside.
Inside, there was no green outside.
In January?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it did not get above 0.
Okay, well, you're used to that. Come on, it doesn't get above 30 here at some points. Minus 30, I mean.
Warmer there than it was here.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you who should be the next coach. I'm asking what's going to be the most important quality for the next head coach, for your successor here at UMD, keeping in mind this new kind of environment and world they're going to be stepping into as head coach?
I think understanding the game and understanding people. So it's twofold, I would say. I think part of what has made us successful has been our coaching and our work ethic in that coaching to really try to break down film, break down opponents, understand our players really well. That edge has been significant. And I think understanding your people and what they need and what motivates them and how to talk to them and all of those interpersonal skills I think are really important. You're probably leaning more towards like the financial side and creativity with that. I think you just have to be adaptable and try to think a couple steps ahead. And I think that's most head coaches should have those qualities.
What were those initial encouragements or messages to the players? I know it's so early and will look different probably individually later on, but what has that conversation in the last several hours been like?
With
your players?
Yeah. What I told them, basically, what I've told you guys, this is an incredibly difficult decision, but they all know, I'm from the East Coast and my family's out there, and they understand that and that they will be fine. This is shocking and sad and all of those things, but they will be fine. This is all part of college sports. People don't stay forever, and they've seen a lot of turnover in different positions over the years, so they know we bounce back as a program. We hire good people. UMD attracts good people, and that locker room is set up for success. And like I said, that I'm excited to watch them go.
Do they have any words of encouragement for you?
I've gotten a lot of text messages, and I had the chance to run into a few players in person, and they're just, really happy and believe that, I can do what I did here or there. So I love their vote of confidence in that, and they know they're going to be okay. So I think, yeah, it's the news of it, and give it a few days, and they just need to keep doing what they're doing in the weight room and getting themselves ready to have a great season.
Going off that, any initial goals for your new gig?
I just need to get out there, figure out where I'm to live, get to know the athletes, get to know, what their goals are and what's realistic. But I remember when I came here, just building those relationships with the players was so important in understanding them and having them understand me. So there's a trust as we embark on our journey together.
Do you have a timeline for getting out there and getting started?
That's a great question. It's all happened very quickly, so not sure.
Shelby's a realtor. She doesn't have houses already.
She's done a lot of research. Yeah. Well,
That's the advantage of being married to a realtor.
it is
She can-
for sure. She can do that stuff, and I don't have to. So that is very helpful. But yeah, it's just overwhelming, as everybody knows, if you've had to move and figure out new things. But exciting too.
You're obviously adamant about, not leaving in these players' lives. Is there any coach or player that you kind of point to in your life that allowed you to kind of have that mindset?
It's more my family, I would say. A lot of why I got into coaching was to make it better. I saw a need, and I wanted to make it better and be a great role model for young women. But it's more, my family and my background, and just being good to people and taking care of people. And I think that comes back to you in spades. So it's more of a, I guess, family tradition.
In your time here, has there been any Duluthy or Minnesota traits that you found that you've kind of picked up? And if so, are you going to miss any of those?
Oh my goodness. So I've heard I've developed a bit of a Minnesota accent. Matt, yes?
Kelly and I may have noted that after one of your
Yes.
this last season.
So apparently I'm
You have
saying,
some Minnesota phrases.
I love it. And just, yeah, certain words. Shelby will tell me you're adding syllables to certain words that you didn't have syllables for before. So I'm proud of that. And I am, so proud, as everybody is up here, to have weathered the snowiest winter on record last year in Duluth, Minnesota, and just being the hardy folks that we are, dealing with the winters up here and not really batting an eye. The roads get cleared and you're off to work, and it's, like I said, minus 30 on the car thermometer and thermostat.
On London Road, they plow your road.
They do a good job, but not my alley. That can be off-roading in the winter.
They didn't do very well on Cook Street when I lived there. Have you talked to Lou?
Yes. Yep. Harvard, Dartmouth, pretty big rivalry.
At least you don't throw tennis balls at them. That's Princeton.
Is it? What's that story?
I think it's men's hockey. At some point.
Oh, some tradition?
They started throwing tennis balls at Dartmouth players.
Oh,
So now
nice.
when Dartmouth scores, their entire student section goes tennis balls on the ice.
Okay, I'll have to look out for that.
It was really high scoring. How many tennis balls do you
They
do?
can do it the first.
This is the first one. Just the first. After that's penalty. We're doing that.
How many occupied?
Kind of like the teddy bear toss.
We had that incident once. Please don't remind me.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys have been amazing. Love the support and seeing you guys every week, and then more so after games and things like that. You guys have been so supportive of women's hockey and me personally. I will miss having our conversations and having this coverage and this interest in women's hockey. So thank you guys for everything.
Maura?
Yeah.